What up, peeps? It's your boy Heckin Steve. Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk to you about some game systems that I think are best to collect for right now in 2025. And the reason that I want to make this video is because, we all know that GameCube is cooked right now. Basically, the Wii is pretty much getting there, where the most desirable games are just like super expensive for these systems. But there's still some systems left that, that are all, I don't want to say always going to be affordable to collect for, but I picked out 4 systems. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to start with the oldest system first and work our way up to the newest. And first up, that's going to be the Sega Genesis. So we've got Altered Beast here. This was a launch title for the Sega Genesis. And, keep in mind, you're going to pay a little bit more for complete in-box stuff. You can collect these loose, and they're really affordable. But a lot of the complete in-box Sega Genesis games are affordable too. Now, what I mean by that is paying $30 or less for them, which I think is pretty fair, considering that Super Nintendo, which primarily used cardboard boxes the entire time, those are a little more expensive to get because most people just damaged the boxes and threw them out, or they just threw them out or in general. But Sega Genesis, they did cardboard for a little bit, but they eventually worked their ways up to these hard cases, which was a big move, and I can't believe Nintendo didn't do it. But Desert Strike, that's another fantastic, affordable, complete in-box game for the Sega Genesis. You play basically as a helicopter, and you do missions and stuff, like top-down kind of view. It's really fun, and it's a unique experience. I believe those are also on the Super Nintendo. Maybe not. I know there's a lot of them on the Genesis, though. My personal favorite Sega Genesis game, General Chaos here. And this is basically an RTS. If you've watched my recent 16-bit era video that I did with M. Seymour, I talk a lot about this game. I love this game. It's actually one of the first RTSs that I ever had experience with. So when I was exposed to the gameplay of this, it was my first time experiencing something like that. So it was kind of confusing at first, but I was able to figure it out. And I just love this game. And this is a must-have. And I believe you can still get this complete for like $60 or less, but if you get it loose, it's in the 30s, I believe. And I haven't looked at the prices in a while, so that could be wrong. But I know it's not, $100 complete in box like a lot of those Super Nintendo games are. And then lastly, for the Sega Genesis, and keep in mind, there's plenty of games that are affordable and great on these systems, but I'm only showing like a handful for each system today that I have. But there are, plenty to talk about. I just didn't want to make this video super long. And that's Streets of Rage 2. I believe I don't have the manual for this game. But I was still excited to get it in the box. Anytime you can get the box, I'm down. It looks good on the shelf. But fantastic beat 'em up. And, the 16-bit era had some of the best beat 'em ups in general. But yeah, so I think Sega Genesis is a great system to collect for right now. It's very affordable. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of complete in-box games for the Genesis that are expensive, like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Crusader of Sinti, which I think is like one of the most expensive. So you're going to have that with every system, but there's a majority of games that you can afford that just kick ass. And that may even apply to every system, to be honest with you. But Genesis, from the 16-bit era, I definitely think that people sleep on that era, or they sleep on that console, and focus too much on Super Nintendo. And Super Nintendo's great. Not saying it's not, but I think the Genesis is a fun one to collect for. All right, so next up, this might not be a surprise to anybody. We're going to talk about the Sony PlayStation 2 and Final Fantasy X. They made so many copies of this game, so if you're going to collect PS2, you're going to end up with this game, even if you're not really a huge Final Fantasy fan, because it's a great game, whether you like it or not, and it's just really affordable. I think you can get this complete for like $10 or less, and it's absolutely a masterpiece. And then, these, can't ever go wrong. In fact, I think the entire series of Grand Theft Auto, especially Grand Theft Auto 3, the first one they ever did in the third-person view, really set it off. Always affordable. Pretty sure you can get that for less than $15. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, more of the same, just with a different a city, obviously Miami. And the soundtrack, untouched soundtrack, man, amazing. Especially like if you play the remasters, like in the trilogy that came out recently, you know, they had to take some of the songs out, and that, I mean, it's still playable and enjoyable, you know, with all the updated frame rate and graphics, you know, remastering they did. But the OG, got that OG soundtrack, so it's definitely worth checking out. Also, less than $15 complete. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I believe, still to this day, the most sold game on the PS2, and that's for good reason. This one takes place in the 90s in California. Definitely great, especially if you like hip-hop and early 90s culture. Another affordable game that I had a lot of fun playing as a kid, Gran Turismo 3. You can get this one complete for, I think, less than $8. And, man, this game right here was my favorite game for a really long time. I love Quantic Dream. You'll see a few of their games pop up in this list. Indigo Prophecy. This is a very story-driven game. It's one of those kind of like choose-your-own-adventure type of storylines where you decide like what they do, and it'll change the ending slightly. Fantastic game if you like mysteries and thrillers and stuff like that. Definitely need to check this out. Also, this game exposed me to the band Theory of a Deadman, which is random as hell, but you know, they ain't too bad. Basically like a Nickelback clone kind of thing. Can't talk about PS2 without talking about Need for Speed Underground. Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 you can get complete for, I believe, $25 or less. If you like racing games at all, you have to play Need for Speed Underground. And that's the thing too, like PS2, there are so many amazing games on this system. There's over 1,000 games on this system, and hundreds of them are worth buying and they're worth playing. It was really just, it was like a goated era for video games. And I still got a few more to show here. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Personally, my favorite Metal Gear Solid game. And another amazing story-driven game. Blow your mind if you never played it. And then we got Jet Li's Rise to Honor. I've mentioned this plenty of times before. It's just because I can't stress enough how amazing this game is. It has bullet time. It has a really sweet arcade-style beat-em-up aspect to it, and it's challenging. It's not completely easy the whole time, but yeah, fantastic game, and you can get that one complete for definitely less than $20. And then Tony Hawk's Underground's one of the best skate games ever made. Storyline's amazing, and surprisingly, you can still get this one complete in box for a very affordable price. All right, next up is actually another Sony console, and that is the PlayStation 3. You know, I wanted to put 360 in here because a lot of great 360 games are still cheap, like Dead Rising, Dead Space, stuff like that. But I opted out of it because I know that it's almost as hot as GameCube. But PlayStation 3, people, they slept on PS3 back in the day, and they still sleep on PS3. But there are some amazing exclusive games on the PS3 that have not gotten attention in a really long time, and you can get them for super cheap. We've got Beyond Two Souls. This is another Quantic Dream game, starring Ellen Page, or he goes by Elliot Page now. Also, Willem Dafoe is in it. Fantastic storyline. Even if you don't want to play the game, you should definitely just watch the cutscenes on YouTube, because the story is basically just like a movie. But it is a fantastic game and an even better story. Then you've got the God of War saga. I believe this one's a little more pricey compared to the other stuff that I've shown. But you're getting God of War 1, 2, 3, and you're getting the 2 PSP games. It's 5 games in one. So when you break that down, I think this is less than $50. I think I paid 30-something for it, but I've had it for a little bit. Also, honorable mentions, Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, which also were added to the PS3, but you can also buy those on PS2. Actually, I think Shadow of the Colossus is PS4. I know I have it on PS4. But those are great games, and they're not that expensive either. Man, Grand Theft Auto 4, spent so much time playing this game. Nico Bellic and his cousin Roman are just amazing. And, Grand Theft Auto always, even though the formula stays about the same each time, they always deliver. They always put out a really good storyline and unique characters that you can bond with and appreciate. So, yeah, gotta have that. And that's not an expensive game at all. Even if you buy it digitally, you can usually find it on sale for like $5. And also the DLC, which is out. You could get as a standalone game. Episodes from Liberty City with Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and the Damned. Definitely worth checking out as well. Here's a launch title for the PS3. It's a nice hack and slash game, kind of like I don't want to say Bayonetta, but a little like God of War, kind of. But also a unique, exclusive game to the PS3. Left in the Dust, Heavenly Sword, always affordable. Pretty sure you can get that one for less than 20 bucks. Another Quantic Dream game, Heavy Rain, probably the most famous Quantic Dream game, I would say, because of the memes. Press X to Jason. But really a great storyline, and honestly, they should make this into a movie, if I'm being honest with you. You play as multiple characters trying to find out who the Origami Killer is, and it's just great. Unique gameplay, just like Beyond Two Souls and just like Indigo Prophecy. And Detroit Become Human, which, in my opinion, is their best game, which, I mean, it's their newest one, so it would make sense. Phenomenal. Don't sleep on that game. It's on PS4 and PC. Now, speaking of games that get slept on, Little Big Planet Karting is amazing, and it came as a pack-in for the system. I believe that's why it's in this little sleeve here. But I actually used to own this in a case, and it is amazing. It has a track creator on it. It's just as fun as Mario Kart. So I'm really disappointed that they didn't make any more of these. Also, the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game. I didn't put that in my stack to show off, but that's another great PS3 game that got left in the dust. Sony does that a lot, man. If something doesn't perform as well as they want it to, they just leave it behind. But there are these diehard fan bases for these games, and they should really consider making them again, especially the All-Stars game. But also, I put Little Big Planet Game of the Year edition on here because this is the OG Little Big Planet, and I believe that this one had the most love put into it out of all the Little Big Planets. There's 3 of them, plus Sackboy, so technically 4, I guess. But Sackboy's a little different. But yeah, this game is amazing, and you can always find it for cheap. And lastly, for PS3, a game that we desperately need ported over to modern systems, in my opinion, and that's Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, I got this game midnight release years and years ago. I had the limited edition, but, obviously I got rid of that a long time ago. It was just more like a thick, hard case. They came with a DVD, which I have the DVD still. But, man, this is the conclusion of Solid Snake's story, and it's over the top. Hideo Kojima is one of the best storyline writers for video games and innovators of our lifetime, and I haven't played this game since release. I stayed up all night and played it start to finish, and I would really love to play it again, but I don't want to play this again, because if they do port it over, I want to play it that way. So I've been patient, kind of waiting to see if they're gonna finally put it in a volume 2 for the Metal Gear Solid collection, which I have up here. But yeah, this game, you could get it complete for less than 15, probably less than 10 bucks. Highly recommend it. And then the last system that I want to kind of promote for collectors, because this is affordable collecting, but you're still ending up with games that are freaking awesome. Because not everybody that collects cares about, I've got Little Samson, and I've got Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger's great, don't get me wrong, but, it's like $900 complete in box or something like that. It's stupid. But Xbox One and Series X, I guess a lot of these might be Series X. But if you don't have an Xbox, you could probably get an Xbox One for less than $200. Probably a lot less than $200. I know the Series X price just recently went up, and that's a shame. It is a shame, but it was on sale, or not on sale, but it was for sale for $500 for 5 years. So, but anyways, I still want to recommend some of these games, especially Back 4 Blood. This is technically Left 4 Dead 3. It's made by the same developers. It plays just like Left 4 Dead, except they added a card system to it, where you can earn these cards that give you specific bonuses and perks as you play, and it makes you a more unique teammate, because it is a 4-player co-op game where you fight zombies and monsters. And people sleep on this game. This game is fantastic. If you haven't played it and you like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, definitely worth checking out, and it is super affordable. Probably less than $10 these days. Catch it on a 4 for $40 or a 4 for $20 sale at GameStop. And I told you I was going to have all these games in the series. Grand Theft Auto 5, I mean, one of the most successful video games of all time. And with good reason. There is so much you can do in this game. The graphics are fantastic. The story is amazing and hilarious. It makes Rockstar so much money consistently with the online. The online's actually fun too, even if you don't spend a lot of money. Just hanging out at the casino and betting on the horses and playing blackjack is fun as hell. But yeah, definitely got to have that. I mean, I'm not really making any groundbreaking statements here, you know, talking about stuff like that. But here we go. This one right here, Halo Master Chief Collection. So this one's probably in the 30s to 40s, used at GameStop. You may find it cheaper somewhere else, but I mean, you've got the whole collection here. Well, not the whole collection, but a lot of the bangers. You got Halo 1, 2, 3, I believe 4 is on here, and Reach. I said that backwards. Okay, so Remaster Halo 2 Anniversary, then Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, which is the first one, Halo 3 and Halo 4. But you can also get Reach, I guess, as DLC and ODST, I believe. So this is like your definitive Master Chief, but everyone calls it the Chef Collection. Definitely worth it. And then Halo Infinite, man. So you could play this on Game Pass, which is what I did. That's why I never opened this, but I caught this on sale 2 years ago at Best Buy during Black Friday for $15. And the gameplay, you know, they changed a lot to it. I mean, the grappling hook is definitely a nice feature, and a lot more boss fights in this one compared to the others. More I'd say more like Destiny when it comes to the boss fights, but not like full on like how Destiny is. And it's definitely worth playing through once. Now the storyline does get a little dull and repetitive, but the freedom to go wherever you want and play as you want is definitely worth playing. And that game's super cheap, mostly because it's on Game Pass, and that's why Xbox One and Xbox Series is a good system to collect for, because you'll have a lot of games that are on Game Pass, and therefore the physical copy of them are a lot cheaper on Xbox compared to like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And couldn't get through a recommending video without talking about Resident Evil 2, which I think still to this day is the best Resident Evil game, this remaster, in my opinion. So if you like survival horror, you got to play that if you haven't already. Then I put Resident Evil 3 in here as well, because I've always been a total mark for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. This version is good, but it's not as good as the way they treated Resident Evil 2. Mostly because they kind of rushed that one in comparison to Resident Evil 2. They spent a lot more time on that one. They also took out the clock tower segment in that game, so... but, you know, it's still a great experience for less than $20. It's on sale all the time for like $14.99, $12.99. And then Rise, Son of Rome. Now, this one's a lot like God of War, Dante's Inferno kind of stuff, like hack and slash with a little bit of RPG elements. The storyline is pretty good. It's kind of short, but this is definitely one worth picking up, and you could usually get it for like $2 or $3. Maybe $5 nowadays with how expensive everything's gotten. Skate 3, amazing. I can't wait for the new Skate game, but I know they're going to make it suck ass somehow with the DLC or add-on microtransactions. But this game right here stands the test of time, and it's still played by thousands and thousands of people to this day. And you can get it for less than $20. And then lastly, Titanfall 2. Can't tell you how much I love this game. I can't recommend it enough either. That's what I'm trying to say here. The campaign to this game is fantastic, and I'm super bummed that EA decided to can all their plans for Titanfall 3. I think they need to reverse that decision, because this is a series that deserves another game. One of the best, if not the best, first-person stories in a shooter that I've ever played, and I'll stand by that opinion forever. It is immaculate and perfect the whole time. The gameplay is so great. To play on foot as a soldier and jump into a Titan, and then you've got your mech battles, and there's so many different Titans in the game that are unique that the gameplay does not get boring. The online multiplayer is a little savage. Most of the people left still playing this game are diehard fans, and so they know what the hell they're doing. But there is a wave fighting mode that you can co-op with 3 other people, and that is where I spend most of my multiplayer time with Titanfall 2, because you're fighting bots, and it's tough as it is. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough. They actually should make a Titanfall movie as well. But yeah, that's going to conclude the video, man. I think those 4 systems right there, you're pretty safe, you know, collecting for right now in 2025. They're really affordable. I don't think they're going to become expensive to buy for probably a couple of years at least. But that's going to conclude that. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. Let me know below what you think, and if you do collect for these systems, which I'm sure a lot of people collect for PS2. I mean, PS2 is one of the greatest systems ever created. But let me know if you have any suggestions that I forgot to leave off here, or maybe some stuff that you know I don't have, because you guys have seen my collection a lot. And I will catch you in the next video.